Okay, this is the road that leads to Crater Lake, and I just kind of pulled off the road because this is really interesting. These poles that you see here are only there so to mark the entrance of this little parking lot, because the snow actually reaches all the way to possibly the tops of these poles. So this is just to basically show you how deep the snow is out here. Now this is some type of, well, this whole area is volcanic. And so this is kind of a little plateau. They call this a little kind of a desert area here. But it is just going to be really interesting. And I guess you can snowmobile all through this area as well. Should have gotten that windsock. Crater Lake. The color of this water is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything this blue, not even the Pacific Ocean. I'm going to be driving around it. It's incredible. I mean, it's just breathtaking. My wife was here when she was a little girl, and she's back home in New Jersey. And I'm here. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Some people having lunch. This gives you a little perspective of how much of a drop off there is. There's a boat right down there. Isn't that cool? There's a Crater Lake from a different angle. And it's pretty much a sheer drop. Straight down there. You can actually go fishing here. You can bring your boat. You got to have special licenses. This is the depth of this lake is 2,200 feet.
Yeah, you should. Actually, it's beautiful. I can go you back a couple of pictures. The painted hills is just absolutely amazing.
And that's what, dinosaurs and stuff like that?
Fossils, yeah. Lots of fossils.
Cenozoic era. So 44 million years ago.
down a couple more miles to a little spot that's called Cloud Cap Lookout. And then there's another lookout place that's called Phantom Ship. So we're going to stop at that. That's another 5 miles and then another 9 miles. Otherwise, you could spend the whole day just riding around here and just looking at all the breathtaking views. But this kind of gives you a little bit of what it looks like. One thing I forgot to mention is the pine snap that is flowing through the air up here is unbelievable. Typical West smells, big pine trees, just really nice. Kind of clears the sinuses. I don't know if am I catching all this, but this is probably the highest elevation portion of this whole area. Wow. I'm trying to film this and try to stay on the road at the same time. Okay. I don't know if this is Cloud Cap, but this is the beginning of it. That's Mount Scott. And it's pretty tall. But just look at the view that's up here. That's the way that we came in, that I came in. You see the prairie all the way down there. That's all been, it's just a layer of lava that just spewed off the volcano. There's a peak out there. And I forget the name of that lake, but it's absolutely blue. There's yet another view. I'm almost halfway around. I'll take book tours. They say that the water is so clear that it basically doesn't absorb any colors from the water itself. So what you're basically looking at is a reflection of the sky, obviously, but purely just that.
But what actually sort of spooked the market over the last was that we've seen a return, an increase in utilization over last
Some of these roads are open during the winter.
It's going to accelerate. I think the fiscal cliff impact is that if we see...
I don't know if I would want to be up here during the winter. These roads are pretty narrow. And I'm going to have to step it down to 3rd gear. People actually come up here on bicycles, 7,000 foot climb. which is pretty cool. And that bell is, yes, I'm not wearing my seatbelt. There was a section just like this that was falling rocks right up to the white line. I had to go a little slower. But you can see where I am. That little blue arrow there on the GPS. And right where those icons are at the top of the Crater Lake is where I entered. And there's Crater Lake again. And these roads are bumpy and narrow. But I'm only going 25 miles an hour, so that's about it. They actually have 2 campsites up here. And you have to make reservations, but this would be a cool place to come and hang out for a day or two. There's another falling rocks with some snow still. The view. This is not quite as bad as the road over the Tetons going down into Jackson Hole, or maybe it is. And ever since that experience, I've gotten used to these type of roads. But we don't have anything like this at home. Maybe the road that goes past Eagle's Nest up in New York State. That's about it. And it gets pretty windy up here. Today there's about 10 to 13 mile winds, which isn't really bad, but at night it gets windier. And I'm glad I'm not coming through here at night. But there's a little bit of...
Highlighted your greatest strength.
Well, I think,
I'm so glad I'm on the inside of the road here. I don't even want to look over there, but I will take video. All I know is that it's probably very steep down there. And as I'm driving, I'm leaning towards the inside of the truck. Oh, thank God there's a curve. I'm getting away from this. Oh man. We're actually not even close to Crater Lake, and you can see that the road actually diverts away from the rim, and you can see that blue arrow where I am right now.
Execute against those fundamentals. This is going to be a big question for everybody. Let me go back to your comment on the Visco Cliff. I know that there are some...
When the road goes up like this, it kind of makes me a little bit nervous because I don't know what's on the other side. And as far as I'm concerned, the earth is flat. Wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. There's another brave soul on his bike. Good for him. I'm going to send this to Carl, have him come up here with his bike. Back down to 4th gear. I hope I'm capturing this. There's more fallen rock. I'm in a high-low truck camper. Heading towards the rim. Almost at the end. Drove around the whole place. And here we are, pretty much at the edge. Imagine it's straight down from here. But get a good picture of the island. Looks like there's boathouses down there. Yeah, you can see the purple, it's like a purple blanket growing on the side of the road. All throughout here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, there's a little red, a little yellow. I'm so glad when I came into the entrance of the park, I asked her if this vehicle was okay to go through with some of these roads, and she says, well, if you want to stay away from the ledge, go counterclockwise. And I am so happy I had that conversation, because that little stretch that we just passed was pretty scary. This is the last shot I think I'm going to take of Crater Lake. It's been incredible just to see this. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to turn off the camera on the way home to New Jersey, because I don't think I'm going to see anything that's going to be breathtaking or even close to this. So, thank you for the suggestion, Lisa. It was definitely worthwhile. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna watch where I'm going. I think we're getting close to the. Yeah, we're getting close to the entrance that I came in on. Sorry about that. I was gaining a little bit speed. Oh, that's a nice drop off here at the ledge. A little bit more snow. And pretty soon we're going to conclude a drive around Crater Lake. So, sorry that you weren't here, but you can say that you were here via video and experienced it through moi. And this is probably going to be the last view that we're going to get of Crater Lake. Yep, here's the entrance, I would say. We're going to be making a left and say goodbye. Bye-bye. This is where I came in. See ya. Going back to Eugene. Talk to you later.